A 200-pound English Mastiff was found shivering under a car hood in the rain. Nobody wanted him. And what a husband caught on camera at 3 a.m. will shock you. Thomas didn't plan on changing his life that Tuesday morning. He had a grocery list, a cup of coffee, and exactly 40 minutes before the store opened. He climbed into his SUV, turned the key, and then heard it. A sound so small, so desperate, it cut straight through the engine noise. A whimper, high-pitched, terrified. He killed the engine immediately. When he popped the hood, what he found stopped him cold. A puppy, soaked to the bone, tiger-striped brindle fur matted flat against a shivering frame, eyes crusted with infection. It didn't look like a dog. It looked like a prayer nobody had answered yet. Thomas scooped the animal into his arms. "It's okay, little one," he whispered. He never made it to the store. Inside the house, his daughters Lily and Sophie gasped the moment they saw the puppy. They were already on the floor with warm towels before Thomas finished his sentence. For 2 hours, he knocked on every door in Maplewood. Nobody recognized the dog. His wife Sarah posted notices on every local group online. By evening, one thing was clear: this animal belonged to no one. And that was the problem, because Sarah had a rule: no dogs, not in her house, not on her furniture, not ever. She stood in the doorway of the living room, arms crossed, eyes scanning the scene with something that went beyond annoyance. It was resentment, the kind that tells you this conversation is already over. "We can't keep him, Thomas. This isn't a shelter." The girls looked up. Thomas looked at Sarah. Nobody moved. "Let him stay a few days. The owner will turn up." Sarah didn't argue, but the look she gave that puppy on her way out of the room, you would have thought he'd personally ruined her week. And honestly, he kind of had. For the next 3 weeks, Sarah treated that dog like a slow-moving inconvenience. She sidestepped him the way you avoid a puddle of something unidentifiable. She complained about the smell, the fur on the couch, the way he stared at her while she ate, which, to be fair, was a lot of staring. Because here's the thing about English Mastiffs that nobody tells you before you accidentally adopt one: they grow fast, relentlessly. By week 4, that shivering puppy under the hood had turned into something closer to a small sofa with a heartbeat. His paws were the size of a man's fist. His head was the approximate weight of a bowling ball. And he had absolutely no concept of personal space. Thomas started calling him Bear. Sarah started calling him that creature. I see you're still here but haven't subscribed yet. Honestly, that hurts a little. Hit subscribe right now. Trust me, you need to see what happens next. Four months passed. Bear was no longer a puppy by any reasonable definition. He was 190 pounds of brindle muscle, and he moved through the house like a very affectionate freight train. The girls adored him. Thomas had quietly accepted that the couch now belonged to Bear, and they were simply guests on it. And Sarah? Sarah hated him. She said so, frequently, loudly, to anyone who would listen. Which is why what happened on a Friday morning 4 months in made absolutely no sense at all. Thomas had forgotten his phone and keys. He drove back, parked a block away, walked up to the house, and through the large bay window, before he even reached the front door, he stopped dead. Sarah was sitting on the floor. Bear's enormous head was resting in her lap, and she was whispering to him softly, feeding him pieces of cooked chicken from her hand one by one, with an expression on her face that Thomas had not seen in a very long time. It wasn't irritation. It wasn't exhaustion. It was pure, unguarded love, the kind people only show when they think nobody's watching. Thomas stood there for a long moment. Then he quietly stepped back and rang the doorbell. By the time Sarah opened the door, she was fully composed, cold, efficient. She handed him his keys with a sigh. "I don't understand how you leave me alone with this animal all day," she said flatly, gesturing at Bear, who was wagging his tail behind her like a furry wrecking ball. Thomas just smiled, took the keys, and drove to the corner, where he parked and watched through the window again. The moment the car disappeared from view, Sarah was back on the floor, both arms around Bear's neck, face buried in his fur, letting him lick her cheek, something she had called genuinely disgusting just 48 hours earlier. Thomas sat in that car for 11 minutes. Then he drove home with a plan. That evening at dinner, he looked up from his plate with the most serious expression he could manage. "Good news, I found the owner. He's coming tomorrow morning." The silence that followed lasted exactly 2 seconds. Then Sarah stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. "What? You're just going to hand him over to someone who abandoned him for 4 months?" "He is the owner, Sarah. He is absolutely not taking that dog." Thomas let it build for another hour. Then he told her there was a wealthy family from the city, a huge estate, plenty of space. Sarah's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. "He'll be lonely," she said quietly. "He needs a family. He needs us." And that's when Thomas started laughing. He told her everything: the window, the chicken, the 11 minutes in the car. Sarah froze. Then slowly she laughed too. And cried at the same time, in the way people do when something they've been holding very tightly finally lets go. "I just wanted to be the first one to admit it. I love him." Today, Bear is 4 years old and 200 pounds of absolute devotion. He follows Sarah from room to room like a shadow with a heartbeat. He leans against her legs while she reads. He waits outside the bathroom door. He has claimed her side of the couch, her favorite blanket, and roughly 70% of her personal space. And once a month, Sarah hosts Bear's Night In. Every dog in the neighborhood comes over. She spends the whole week making homemade treats. The living room turns into a beautiful, chaotic, fur-covered disaster, and Sarah sits right in the middle of it, hand-feeding every single one of them, exactly the way she did the first day she thought no one was watching. Some people spend their whole lives building walls, and then a 200-pound dog with tiger-striped fur just walks straight through them like they were never there. If you've ever had an animal find the part of you that you forgot to protect, drop their name in the comments. I'd love to know who they were. And if you're thinking about adopting, please take the time to learn what they need. Talk to people who understand. Be patient, because sometimes the ones nobody wanted are exactly who you've been waiting for.